More money, less work. How do we do it? I consult and work with founders all around the world. I'm going to show you guys 3 ways, spiritual and physical business tactics for you to make more money, drive more revenue, but work less. A lot of people do the inverted. We don't want that. We want more money with less effort, more elegance. 3 ways, here we go. The first way is your nervous system, okay? We're going to get into the business tactics later in this video. But firstly, I want to start out with things that are not business tactics. Nervous system and tolerance. This is super, super important, and it has to do with your subconscious mind. We are living into our minimum standards right now, right in this very moment. What you are tolerating every single month in your income, what I'm tolerating every single month in my income as well, in my revenue for my businesses, is my minimum standard. And if we're not conscious that there is a nervous system set of standards keeping us at this certain level, we can never expand it. It's like if you're in a room and the AC is set at 70. If you have the door open and it goes to 75 outside, it's going to work overtime to bring that down. That is your subconscious and your nervous system keeping you into your minimum standard. And if you don't know what that is, it's super easy. Look at your last 3 months of bank statements. Do the average. Add them up, do the average. That's your minimum standard. So we have to consciously raise our standard first. And what you'll notice too is, if you have like a record-breaking month, you'll start doing dumb things. You'll start spending poorly. You'll start wasting your time because your nervous system is working to bring your standard back. You'll stop working. We've all had this happen. All of us. And so what we have to do is we have to consciously raise our standard of what we're willing to tolerate. Because if we don't, we're going to make more money and we're subconsciously going to bring us down. How do we do this? The first thing we do is we have to identify the standard. Step 1 is identify what is our standard right now. And do the exercise I just mentioned. Find the average of the last 3 months. Now we need to make this top of mind. We need to consciously raise our standard. Because if we don't, it's going to stay the same. Now that we have our number, fantastic. That's our number. Now step 2 is consciously raise our tolerance. And now how do we change things on a conscious level? Right? Because that's the vehicle that's going to change it. Words, thoughts, actions. The trifecta of how we change the conscious and subconscious mind, always with absolute faith. I mean, you guys know this, but we can talk more on that. Faith, determination, desire, consciously changing all the time. Consciously in expansion. And so the 3 ways we change this: actions, thoughts, words. All very, very powerful. And so what you can do for actions, I'll give you examples for each. What you can do as an action to raise your level of minimum tolerance is go and act richer. Act richer because you are richer, right? Everything's in present tense. When we're expanding our consciousness, when we're really elevating who we are as a person, we have to illustrate our faith in actions, thoughts, words. And so with actions, act richer. If you would normally spend $100 at the grocery store, or if you would normally go to X restaurant, these are small examples. Go to a slightly nicer restaurant. If you normally get a certain kind of meat at the grocery store or a certain type of food, get a little bit nicer products. We have to expand our actions to align it with the more money. Because think about it. How would you be acting with your actions every single day with your new standard that you pick, right? You pick your standard where you're at right now, and you pick your new standard consciously. And so when you're at this level of minimum standard of what's coming in every single month, how would you be behaving? You would be spending a bit more money. I can almost guarantee it. And so go to the nicer places, get the nicer entrees, get things that are nicer. Illustrate your faith that this is your new standard with your actions. With your thoughts, have thoughts of faith. Have thoughts that surround yourself and your conscious mind with this level of standard. And with your words, this can be written and this can be oral. And so what we want to do is we want to fiercely acknowledge that this is no longer our minimum standard. You're not tolerating it anymore. Write it down, speak it, and write down the standard that you're now tolerating. This is your new standard. Drill it into your mind on a conscious and subconscious level. It has to be your new norm. You do that by your actions, your thoughts, meditations, etc., and your words. Owning it. Drill it into your mind. It's not going to happen overnight. But step one is being consciously aware where you're at, picking that new standard and expanding it with these actions. Over time, it's going to expand. Undoubtedly. Over time, and this will have a ripple effect in your behavior and your actions in your business. Because when, let's say you're at $20,000 a month or $50,000, whatever, and you're like, my new minimum standard, by the way, there's no limit, right? So get creative. My new minimum standard is $100,000 a month. You're going to start moving a little bit differently. It might start with a little bit more urgency, right? So as you're doing this, it's going to become more normal. And when you see your old standard, you're going to have more urgency. You're going to be like, shit, this is not what I'm at. This is not what I'm comfortable at. I'm comfortable here. We got to make changes. You're going to make more deliberate, efficient action. It's going to keep you on a better subconscious and conscious path of your behavior, which is what drives a lot of change. Number two, which is also more metaphysical than third, is going to be straight business. Number three is your state. Number two is your state and your concept of self, which is very, very important. State / concept of self. Very important. Let's start with state. So when you're expanding your minimum tolerance to drive more revenue, to live at this certain level, you're going from here to here. Your state might be a little funky, right? So you're going to be a little uncomfortable. When you're in this expansion period of raising your standard and completely shattering all limits around your nervous system, your subconscious mind, your state might be in a state of fear, or a state of worry, or a state of doubt, or a state of how, or a state of overthink around how is this going to happen, how am I going to do this, I'm worried I'm not going to get there, I've never done this before, right? Like all this fear, all this worry, all this doubt, all these negative emotions are going to cloud your state, typically. They're going to cloud your state. So when we shift standard, uncomfortable state follows. And this is when it's so important to master your state. This is when it's so, this is you getting tested, right? Because when we're always expanding and expanding, you're gonna have these subconscious flare-ups, these nervous system flare-ups of worry and doubt and all these negative emotions. We must anchor. This works when we anchor in faith. When we anchor in emotions that emit a certain frequency, a certain vibration that attracts that standard. Think of it this way. We know that creating is all present tense, right? It's the I am. That's the God within us. That's infinite intelligence. That is how we create our external reality. And so our internal reality must equal new standard. It must equal our new standard. So let's go back to the 100K example. Our new standard is 100K. How would that version, 100K a month, how would that version of you carry in that state? What would their frequency be at? What would their vibration be at? That's what we must be at now, no matter what. No matter what is going on in the external world, no matter what appearances are, that's the embodiment. It's now. It's very hard to expand nervous system and to expand subconscious mind from a state of scarcity. It's impossible, actually. Not just hard, it's basically impossible. You must embody the same state, frequency, vibration of the new standard. Live it now. Live it in present tense. Must embody 100K month state / frequency. So important. And so how do we overcome the fear that comes up, right? How do we overcome the natural subconscious garbage that's going to come up to the surface, get uncomfortable, get worried, get doubtful, get feared? We do this through our practices. This is a quest of mastery, right? When you're becoming someone that can really master their internal state, really master at any given moment, getting that peak state, right? A lot of people talk about this, getting that conviction state, that state of faith, and they can move and shift reality. It's a continuous journey of mastery. It takes time. It takes deliberate effort. It takes the power of the will. And so you're going to feel in your heart center, in your mind center, when these things come up. You're going to feel that tightness. You're going to feel that uncomfortability as you're writing them down, etc., especially in the beginning. It's a conscious effort of state. Meditation's fantastic for this, right? Getting into a really calm and relaxed state before you go to bed and visualizing and embodying this in the present moment really, really helps train and shift subconscious mind, shift identity. Visualization is very powerful for this. Using your words, very powerful for this. And repetition. It's a journey of mastery. And it doesn't happen overnight. But once you really, really understand this stuff, really, really, there's no limit, right? Because then you hit your next limit and you just keep expanding and keep going through this process. Have to understand it first. Have to be able to visualize, meditate, do these certain things to change state, to change frequency. That's it, right? Nikola Tesla talks about the secrets of the universe. You have to think in terms of vibration and frequency. This is what he means. When you vibrate and you have the frequency of this, you naturally expand. You're naturally going to get certain deals and certain things are going to happen, right? That's when things and miracles happen. You have to expect miracles. You have to open the doors to possibility because everything becomes possible when you're at this frequency. Number three is straight business strategies, because you have to have both, right? You have to have a mix of the metaphysic world, and you also need tactical action, execution. You have to have both. And so number 3 is what I call thinking time. And number 3 is so important because it can elevate your business immediately. Thinking time. In every business, there's only 4 possible problems. Number 1, avatar. Number 2, price. Number 3, focus. And number 4, scaling too fast, typically for brick and mortar. And so what I want you to do, and I learned this from Keith Cunningham, is an amazing book called The Road Less Stupid. He's a brilliant business mind. Always have to be reading, consuming this type of information. It's the only way you can stay ahead. This is called thinking time. This is when we allow ourselves to be still in thought and think about innovation. 99% of people in businesses are so consumed and in the business, they never consider the big picture. They never consider the macro. And so they're in this continuous cycle of doing the same things over and over, working harder. This is when you can have massive quantum leaps without working more, because you're doing things differently and you're viewing things differently. Because if you do the same things over and over again, the only way to have better results is to do more of them. It just becomes an effort game. This flips it on its head. And so if we look at the 4 problems we normally have, what you're going to do is you're going to sit 30 minutes minimum, no phone, no distractions, pen and paper, and you're going to think about each one of these for your business and where enhancements can be made. You would be so surprised how many brilliant ideas you come up with, how many different ways you can maybe have a better avatar, a more aligned avatar with your offer, with your product, with your service. You can think of ways to better service them. You can think of ways to increase price immediately. And so all of these decisions that you're going to come up with, and all of these solutions that you're going to come up with are going to have opportunity costs, right? Like if you say, okay, I can have a better avatar so I can charge more, I can serve less clients, let's, random example. That's going to have an opportunity cost, right? Because maybe your acquisition process needs to have adjustments and change to reach that specific clientele. Very possible, right? If you're going to increase price, if you've recognized that your price is your problem and you want to increase price, that's going to have an opportunity cost. Maybe you could just do it without changing anything. That's great. Maybe you need different content. Maybe you need different messaging. Maybe you need different pieces of what you're offering to charge more. So all of these things have opportunity costs. And so what we need to identify is the most efficient high leverage lever to pull, right? Because you can do a ton of things to grow your business. You can probably do like a million things to grow your business. What's the most efficient high leverage thing you can do right now with your current resources in your current market, etc.? And so spending this time thinking and having the discernment, also I would seek out consultants and people that really understand this stuff so that you can have a soundboard to your ideas, is going to cause so much leverage. And so let's say it's focus. It could be focus. You could be doing too many things at one time right now. And so when you sit down, you evaluate all the ways you're acquiring customers, right? You want to understand your CAC. How are we acquiring customers? How much are they paying us over the lifetime? What avenue are we getting the most profitable customer acquisition from? What type of avatar? What type of deliverable? What does that look like? And I guarantee if you just focus down on that, you'd grow without working harder. You would just shift focus. See, shifting focus is not exerting more energy. It's just a reposition. It's strategy, right? It's like chess. And this is when we can play the chess game of business. When we really understand this stuff, we can really dive deeper on not more hours, just reposition. Just a slight change on the board. And that's when you have, coupled with expansion of your nervous system and all of these other things that all go hand in hand, so you can have incredible ideas and be really tapped. When you're tapped into that frequency, the 100K frequency, you're going to have ideas flow into your mind. You're lifting the veil on possibilities. And when you couple it with actual tactical strategy and of course action, you don't have to work harder at all. Things just move, right? Ideas just come. That's the power of those 3 steps. The metaphysic and the business, physical, tactical world intertwined together leads to incredible results. Incredible. I've seen it overnight. New offer, new avatar, boom. I'm aligned with that frequency. I get it. I hit it. Done deal. That's how you can get into the flow state when you're at that vibration and you spend the time to really think and use your mind on how to innovate and how to get better.